Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And boy, oh boy, we have an interesting episode here for you guys here today that you definitely want to stick around for, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, your man Gilbert Arenas has been making a lot of news, right? Recently, a lot of people have been talking about some of the things that he had to say about Giannis Antetokounmpo. It seems to be the number one story right now in the NBA. And after the pushback that he got, Gilbert Arenas actually went on Instagram and he, doubled down on his position. And then he went on, XM radio, Sirius XM radio, Sirius XM NBA radio. He went on there to basically explain his viewpoints. And yesterday on ESPN First Take, Stephen A. Smith and these guys were there essentially reacting to what he had to say. They were asked about his comments. They played his comments for the viewing public to hear, and then they asked Stephen A. Smith to kind of give his take on what Gilbert Arenas had to say about Giannis Antetokounmpo. And when he began to talk, I gotta say, I was absolutely surprised at the answer that he gave. To be quite honest with you, I was really surprised at what he had to say, because I actually thought he was going to say something else. And I thought he was going to take a much stronger position than he did when he was asked to give his opinions on some of the ridiculous things that Gilbert Arenas had to say about Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that's really what we want to talk about here today. But before we get into his comments, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is play what Stephen A. Smith had to say in response to what Gilbert Arenas had to say about Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to what he had to say here.
Gilbert Arenas' comments, fair or foul?
I don't think they're either. I wouldn't call it fair or foul. I don't think it's accurate completely. I think that he should give Giannis better credit for understanding the game a little bit more than he has. But he wasn't insulting him. What he's saying is that his basketball IQ compared to some of the greats. Imagine once Giannis's knowledge of the game gets to that point to Gilbert Arenas' liking. You're seeing a guy that's averaging a minimum of 27 and 11 over the last 4 years. Giannis is a monster. He is something spectacular. But I also want to say this. Gilbert Arenas knows basketball. Gilbert Arenas, through a 3-year period, he averaged a minimum of 25 a game between 2004 to 2006. The brother could ball. Now, he had some issues, obviously, that were well documented that derailed his career to some degree, but he's done a great job on this podcast. I've actually been a guest on this podcast. He knows the game of basketball, and whether we agree or disagree with him, he's not coming from a place of ignorance. He understands the game. He articulates and elocutes his position on the game quite well. And actually, this is somebody that I'm going to invite on First Take during this upcoming season, because he knows what the hell he's talking about. We don't have to agree on everything. Right. I don't agree with him about this. I think Giannis knows and understands the game of basketball a bit more than Gilbert Arenas is giving him credit for. But when Gilbert Arenas says it, it does give me cause to pause and make me say, okay, let me think about what he's talking about, because I know Gilbert Arenas knows basketball.
To be quite honest with you, I was very disappointed with what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I've heard him come out and talk and give stronger opinions and views on other things like Kyrie Irving and other things, but I was quite surprised to see the kind of lukewarm response that he gave to it, which basically saying, he basically said he had no position. He doesn't agree or disagree, which means you're indifferent to the entire matter. And I thought that he would have more to say about this. But he mentioned something in there that I really want to touch on and expand on here. He said that he spoke about Giannis's basketball IQ. I truly don't understand what he meant by that. Which brings me to a serious question. And I'm dead serious about this, and then somebody's going to explain it to me here. What is the difference between between the IQ of LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo? I am being dead serious here. What is the difference between the IQ of LeBron and the IQ of Giannis? Because if you listen to Gilbert Arenas, he is a major proponent of LeBron. He talks about how smart LeBron is, etc., etc., etc. So what evidence is there that suggests that LeBron James has a higher basketball IQ than Giannis Antetokounmpo? Giannis Antetokounmpo shoots a higher field goal percentage from the floor. He averages more rebounds than LeBron. He averages more blocks than LeBron. LeBron averages more assists, and they're about the same in steals. LeBron shoots a higher, 3-point percentage, but that's just because of the way his game is, the style of his game and the position that he plays. That's one thing. They shoot roughly the same amount. If we're talking about percentage from the free throw line, they shoot roughly, some years one guy shoots higher than the other. They're roughly around the 70, 60, high 60s, low 70s mark, right? They shoot virtually the same in those areas. So the question is, what indicators can we point to that we can say, okay, LeBron James has a higher basketball IQ than Giannis Antetokounmpo? What data set do we have that we can look at and say, okay, this is the reason that we can attribute that statement to? The only reason, because some people say, well, LeBron wins more. Well, the only reason LeBron has won more championships than Giannis Antetokounmpo is because he's been on more super teams. You tell me the super team Giannis has been on. We even put up a poll on our channel a number of days ago when we asked the audience, should Giannis Antetokounmpo consider joining? There's a reason I did that. The reason I put up that question was because I wanted to kind of spark the thought out there that Giannis can go on to win a lot of championships if he had a super. That's the only fundamental reason. LeBron won a lone title, kind of lone, because he was playing with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's the one title that we can say, okay, that one carries. I'm going to talk about the Bubblicious one, where they ended up playing the Miami Heat, a depleted Miami Heat, with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and all of these guys were injured, where Tyler Hero was a rookie, I believe, ended up being a starter in that series. Goran Dragic was injured, so we're not going to really count that. But that's the real one that carried a lot of gravitas. It was that championship that LeBron won, where a lot of people were saying, listen, I think this guy could be the greatest player of all time. It was that one. But Giannis did that too. Has LeBron ever had a finals game like the game Giannis had in a win? Did you see that 50-point game that Giannis Antetokounmpo? It was a masterpiece, that performance that he had. So the question is, what evidence do we have that we can say LeBron is the best? And the funny thing is this, we actually put up a poll on our channel before producing the show here, and I asked the audience, what is your definition of a basketball player with the high IQ? And most people are just basically saying it's a great question, and just basically the ability to know when to shoot and pass the ball and all of these, understand game, shot clock, and all of these different things. So, I mean, what's the evidence that we have here? Because these guys are ready to heap praise on LeBron and call him this basketball savant, but they say Giannis needs to work on his basketball IQ. And then I'm trying to understand what are they basing this off of? I truly don't understand why Stephen A. Smith decided to support that nonsense. And he plans on bringing him on the show. Can you imagine it? This guy's talking about Gilbert Arenas really knows basketball. It's unbelievable. So these are my thoughts and opinions on what I want to know from you guys. What do you think about what I had to say? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And we catch you guys on the next episode.